Greetings, the change lovers. Greetings, vanave shanduko. Tinokugamuchirai. We welcome you, Sam Lamugela, Okoko, Veshanduko, everyone who is peace loving and change loving in Zimbabwe. You are welcome to your show. We are excited once again that we are live on your show. Thank you very much for those that are always waiting for us to come live and to share the information of what is happening in the nation. For we are preaching the gospel of the Zimbabwean people, the freedom of the Zimbabwean people, because God is in it and we are working towards our freedom. We are very, very excited that the season of change is now and we are never going to shut up. We will continue to call upon the nation to rise up and be ready for the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. We are very, very live right now. Where are you? Where you are watching us from? We are actually looking at issues happening in the nation as we are drifting slowly from the terraces of pain and the hunger and starvation of ZANU-PF to a comfortable zone of freedom. Today we are looking at Mnangagwa and how he remains insecure and he cracks the whip and shake up Politburo and amid massive resistance. I think in the last show we have a show that we were talking about the plans by EMMERSON Mnangagwa to actually crack the whip within the Politburo. And some signs of this have started to show face that indeed there is a lot that is happening within ZANU-PF. And the sign that things are not well, we can see from the way that Mnangagwa is just hiring and firing people. We are just seeing demotions. We are seeing, people being reassigned and things like that. All this just being a sign of things not well in ZANU-PF. Right. As we spoke last time that the Politburo was going to be shaken, indeed, we have seen quite some developments that have happened in the Politburo, and it is so surprising that the resistance seems to be growing stronger and stronger against Mnangagwa right in the Politburo and even in the ZANU-PF party. So this means simply that a lot of people are not in agreement with Mnangagwa when it comes to whatever it is that he wants to do, or especially the issue that is concerning the third term. The issue of the third term remains a very, very thorny issue, and a lot of resistance is happening right inside ZANU-PF. So an article from the Newsday Zimbabwe says President Mnangagwa has cracked the whip on errant ZANU-PF officials, top officials, whom he either suspended or expelled from party, accusing them of backing former political commissar, Honorable Kasukwere's presidential bid ahead of August 23. So I would want us to go straight to the paper that is talking about this. We want to go right to the paper itself, and then we read together what the Newsday has shared concerning this very, very issue. It's very sensitive, and it is so surprising why Mnangagwa is going after Kasukwere. You'd be surprised why Kasukwere, because it seems Kasukwere was done with long back, but when you look at it, it seems something is brewing. It seems the favor is likely going to be falling on Kasukwere. Probably the military are thinking of engaging Kasukwere or engaging the G40 or something like that. Why is it that the issue of Kasukwere is the one that has caused all this fighting and the shaking that we are seeing happening in the Politburo of ZANU-PF? Right. The article reads, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has cracked the whip on errant ZANU-PF top officials whom he either suspended or expelled from the party, accusing them of backing former political commissar Sevia Kasukwere's presidential bid ahead of the August 23, 2023 Amona's elections. Kasukwere, however, barred from contesting in the elections by the courts on the ground that he had resided outside Zimbabwe for more than 18 months, hence he was no longer a registered voter. Former ZANU-PF Mutare North legislator Batsirai Pemenai, who lost in ZANU-PF primary elections last year, has been shown the exit door. Pemenai lost in the internal polls to Admire Mahachi. Godfrey Tsenengamo, a former ZANU-PF youth boss, told journalists a few months before the election that they had mobilized disgruntled ZANU-PF members to rally behind Kasukwere's candidature. He cited Pemenai, whom he said was recruited to mobilize support in Manicaland province. In a letter dated March 7, in the possession of Newsday, ZANU-PF Secretary General Obet Mpov confirmed the expulsion of Pemenai. The letter serves to advise you that the Politburo, sitting on the 372nd ordinary session of February 29, 2024, endorsed the National Disciplinary Committee decision to expel you from the party with immediate effect. The letter read, the decision was arrived at after the National Disciplinary Committee had found you guilty of disciplinary offenses prescribed in the ZANU-PF Party Constitution, Article 37, Section 549, subsection 9, 12, and 16. Pemenai is not new to controversy. He was once convicted and sentenced to assaulting former ZANU-PF Manicaland provincial chairperson Mike Madiro's personal assistant Wilson Yamande. The Politburo also recommended the suspension of Manicaland Provincial Women's League chairperson Happiness Nyakwedzwa. You have been suspended from holding any leadership position in the party for a period of 2 years with immediate effect. Suspension is in accordance with the amended ZANU-PF Constitution, right, of what. Nyakwedzwa is accused of insulting ZANU-PF Women's League Secretary for External Affairs, Betty Kasek. She is also accused of misusing party resources in Manicaland Timber project, among other allegations. Meanwhile, the Politburo has endorsed the readmission of former Youth League leader Kudzai Chipanga. Chipanga was fired from ZANU-PF in 2017 together with other several members aligned to the G40 cabal following the ouster of then President Robert Mugabe in a military coup. According to the letter, Chipanga is now free to contest for any party position. ZANU-PF Manicaland chairperson Tawanda Mukodza confirmed and receiving the correspondence, although he could not be drawn into revealing more details. We have correspondence from our party leaders, and this is what I can tell you, Mukodza said. Right. And we look at this article, it is actually confirming the issues that we were discussing last time when we talked about the issue of the Politburo being shaken and Mnangagwa getting rid of people that are likely going to stand against his bid to continue in power. And remember, the DCC elections up to now have been put on hold because Mnangagwa does not trust the people that are down there. Right. When it comes to people like Kudzai Chipanga, it is so surprising because Chipanga was actually a G40, a strong G40 member during that time. And we are surprised what really has happened for them to start accepting Kudzai Chipanga to come back again into the fold. We have seen also the calling of people like Kila Zivu. We have seen also people like Ignatius Chombo being called back to ZANU-PF. And it seems Mnangagwa is beginning to even trust the people that had gone. You'd rather work with the old horses. You know, the devil, you know, is better than an angel you don't know. That is why probably he's bringing these other people so that they can come and eventually find themselves taking positions in the Politburo. Because all is not well. The people in the Politburo are not in support, definitely, of Emmerson Mnangagwa and what he's doing. In fact, the whole ZANU-PF structures, right from the cells, there is a lot of intrigue when it comes to the issue of Mnangagwa 2030 mantra. And while he wants to continue to call upon it, the resistance is getting higher and higher. So we are yet to see. It seems most things are, most people are going to be fired from the Politburo as they continue to sell each other out. It means whoever is unhappy with the other, they would sell them out and probably call them an anti-2030 cadre who will eventually be evicted. So, in other words, all that we are saying here is ZANU-PF is just in disarray, especially from the time that Mnangagwa has started to call upon the issue of him continuing in power. This is not going down well with a lot of people. Last time in the last show, I was talking about Chiwenga, and I said, remember, General Chiwenga has never publicly called out that the 2030 mantra. It was only shouted out by the other Vice President Kembo Mohadi, which means Chiwenga and his followers and his supporters also are against this very idea. So we are still yet to see, but as we are always saying, Mnangagwa is pushing himself right into the lion's den. This is the issue really that is going to swallow him. If he had known, he could have found other ways or other means of seeing how he can protect himself or his children, other than trying to change the constitution, amend the constitution, and force ZANU-PF into submitting that he is going to be leading until 2030. So we are watching the space, and a lot of things that are happening are very, very exciting. And I can tell you, we will continue to see the people that he's using is fronting to run the show so that he continues on the throne of power are very weak people actually in ZANU-PF. When we talk about people like Barbara Rodzi, we talk about people like this young boy, the Tin Mark, they call him Tin Mark, the Minister of Youth. He's not. That's what Machakaire. Yes, he's not a strong guy, and we also have this Chadzamira, who is in Mashingo, who is the minister of. I think he is the minister of the province in Mashingo. Then we have Muda. Muda is also one guy who is just a blue-eyed boy of Mnangagwa, but when it comes to the party, ZANU-PF himself is not favorable at all. Remember, last time in the Midlands, there was a war that happened, which most of the old ZANU-PF cadres were calling for the removal of Owen Muda. So this is already showing that Mnangagwa is highly isolated, especially from the old horses of ZANU-PF. They really want to see him gone because they are fighting tooth and nail against all the new guys, the Bomafigizolos that he is using to run his show, those that are campaigning for his 2030 mantra. So let's watch the space. But one thing that we know is the end of ZANU-PF is near. All that we need as children of Zimbabwe and the citizens of Zimbabwe, we are saying we need freedom from ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF must just go. We are sick and tired of having leaders who don't care about what is happening to our people. We don't care, who don't care about what is happening in the hospitals, in the schools, or the roads, the electricity, the water situation, and things like that. So we want to see a true new leaders coming out and taking over from where the wreckage that ZANU-PF has left of a nation that is so prosperous. And I'm telling you, as we continue to pray for our nation as intercessors, God is moving. God is in it. Our time is now. The season has come. Let's continue praying, intercessors. Let's pray for the freedom of the Zimbabwean people, that the great new Zimbabwe may manifest, because God is definitely in it. I just want to hear one or two comments. I saw somebody wrote a comment here, said, Chatufa, my question is, who is Ola? Is he a good person, or he is on our side? No, I just know that young man is a journalist. I haven't really researched much about him, but I understand he came from, is it Zim FM or I think Zim FM or Star FM, something like that. But those FMs, whatever they are, where he came from, the ZANU-PF mouthpieces. So we don't know. I haven't followed him that much myself to be able to really give a comment on him. But from the way that he was interviewing Gift of Salos Siziba, I didn't see any deviation from normal. He was just behaving just like a normal journalist who did not really look like he had a side that he was leaning on. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to speak much about him, but we can still watch him and research about him and find out who really he is. But his foundation definitely shows that he has some kind of ZANU-PF background, but that does not make him ZANU-PF. Probably why he moved and started to do his own things was in disagreement with what was happening with the ZANU-PF. Tindo says, bipolar disorder syndrome kicking. Isutingorimo blue train chete. God is in it. Indeed, we are not going to be moved by whatever is happening in ZANU-PF and their surrogates. Let them continue to kick each other, fight each other, devour each other's liver. We will continue in the blue train declaring the word of God, praying for the nation without ceasing. As my sister Portia is saying here, we are praying without ceasing. Our God is faithful. Everyone who is within the blue train must understand that whatever physical things that are happening, they are only pointing to what God is planning for the nation. Let's not have the physical things happening in the nation disturb our faith in the coming new great Zimbabwe, because God is in it. A lot of negative things will continue to happen, but that does not make change the plan of God for Zimbabwe. The plan is Zimbabwe must be free, and the season that God has called for its freedom is now, and we are already moving towards it, celebrating, praying, standing in the gap, making sure that it happens. So more confusion, more shoving and pushing in ZANU-PF. We are still praying for more confusion in the camp of the enemy, and it is going to happen, and it is going to make sure that our freedom for the Zimbabwean people shall come timelessly. So God is in it. Let's continue rising and standing and believing. So thank you so much, family, for joining me. I'm coming back again exactly quarter past 8. I'll be on the main channel, Chatuva Television Production. There is an issue that we are going to be discussing. Till we meet there, shalom, shalom.